I have no idea when this stopped recording.
We got them pulled out, and on our way out, coming down the hill.
Okay, so we are getting ready to go down to Moab, and in true Brenderman fashion, we wait till the very last second to fix stuff. It happens. So I ordered injectors for my truck weeks ago. There was some issues getting them. Decided to go with a different brand that were remanned that I could get really soon, and ordered those up, and they came in yesterday. So here it is Saturday. We're headed down tomorrow to go meet Rory, and we are getting started. So, where's the steering gear?
That's
the new one?
Oh, the new one? It's in the back of the Toyota.
All right, I'll show you that in a second. So, we went super budget on this because I have zero money to put into this truck. So, Ben ordered this steering, or the hydraulic ram on eBay. We got it for 180 bucks. It's the exact right throw we need for the steering. So, in amidst doing injectors on the truck, Donnie and I decided to do the hydraulic assist steering too. That's Donnie. Hey, Big D. Hey.
You're retarded.
He's the retarded one. He brings it out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting some stuff done.
Hopefully.
So, spoiler alert. We just got a sponsorship, kind of, by Milestar Tires. They are willing to give us 2 sets of 42-inch tires for our project. So, first project they're going on is the blue diesel. Old blue. Big blue. You call it big blue? Big blue.
I just call it blue diesel.
Blue. We call it blue, or blue diesel. So, one set's going on the blue diesel. The other set is going on our Toyota project that we're going to start, and you guys should see here pretty soon. We're going to try to build a rock crawler for Trail Hero this year.
Everybody brought the steer gear.
Yeah. We got the things tapped in. This steering gear is off the frame that I pulled the axle off of. So it's a bigger sector shaft, and it's a little bit stronger gear. Should be a bolt-in replacement, but the lines are different. So we're going to run to Ford right now and see if we can match up some lines and put the new steering gear in. And I, fat hands, fat arms, broke the back little tab off of the power steering pump. You see it right there. So I got to buy a new pump now. So join us for our little build and our little adventure. Hopefully we'll make it done in time to head down there. Hey! So we're still working on the injectors, and we're running into some issues. So the injector part is going okay. We went ahead and tested the pressure for the cups and the coolant, and it was perfect. No coolant coming through. So we're gonna throw the injectors in. Started throwing that in. Donnie's gonna take over. We got the steering gear in. We were able to find a new pump at the local Napa. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I don't usually trust Napa parts. They've not been as good as they used to be. But they were who had it, so that's what we went with. We did find a power steering hose. However, it's not the right one, so we're gonna have to make one work and cross our fingers that it's gonna hold enough pressure. So join us for that adventure. Also, the Ram. apparently I don't have the right fittings. And apparently everyone's closed. So we're Saturday night and we're leaving Sunday night to go to Moab, running this trail 7 o'clock Monday morning. So we're on crunch time. This was stupid on my part, but I've been working like crazy and haven't had time to do it. So, called up a buddy of mine. We're gonna go over to his house because he's got the right parts. And you guys will recognize him, so stay tuned. So we're here at my buddy's house, and maybe you guys will recognize him. That's right. It's Chad Carter with Chad's Fab. He's an awesome guy. Known him for a long time. Just salt of the earth human being. So, and he helps everybody, including me tonight. Just leaving Chad's. And check out what we were able to do. So he helped me out with that, and he helped me out with the fittings. So we're all set. That's everything I think I needed. Oh, it's dark in here. That's a little light. So that's everything I needed to get it done. Let's go back to the house and wrap it up. Okay, so a quick update. We are still going. All the injectors are in. Donnie's getting the valve covers on. Just gonna start doing the power steering line soon. So I'm working on the steering on the bottom. Johnny's working on the injectors. We got Brock and Ben doing CAD programs.
Working on some mounts for the hydro ram. This guy, right there, that's the guy.
Link in description. I'm just kidding. There's no link in any description. So we're getting stuff done. It's exciting. Let's see if it starts recording for any more than just a couple seconds. Show all the oil.
My eyelids still have it on there?
All the oil here.
Not much. I mean, your ear and your beard.
Donnie's covered in oil.
I'm covered. Because I was
Ben
trying to
had a
take
big
those
spot
out.
on his eye.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were turning the motor just then. So I went to reach in and grab the other plug and then...
Well, I figured when I started turning that if there was any, it would seep up and out. I never thought it would shoot out like that.
So
That kind of
what's
pressure.
happening right now is somehow the GoPro just deleted the footage that we just showed. We got it all back together and it didn't seem like the motor was turning. So Ben had a good idea. Let's throw a ratchet on it and turn it over by hand, and he couldn't turn it. So we decided to pull everything back off, pull out the glow plugs, and turn it over by hand and release whatever's in the cylinder. An explosion happened.
I wiped most of it off by now.
We actually recorded while we did it so that you could see it shooting out and all over the place, and the GoPro deleted that. So sorry about that. It was entertaining, but you'll have to take our word for it.
Now we got 2 lost glow plugs.
Yeah, crappy. So, and it sucks that we didn't get it on camera, but sorry. So we decided, or we figured out, we remembered what happened. Okay, so there are 2 drains on either side of the motor that drain the injectors, and you're supposed to do that before you pull the injectors out. We forgot. This is what happens when you get in a hurry. You're doing last minute. We're doing late at night, and that's my fault. I completely forgot to drain those. Because of that, the cylinder's filled with oil, and it hydrolocked the engine. So we started to crank it over, and Donnie immediately pulled off the key because he felt like something wasn't right. Which, super glad we did that, or he did that, and now we have a huge mess to clean up, but at least we have an operating motor.
Yeah, there's something on your face.
Ah, it's my face. It's my rag on my face. Put it back together.
Again.
Round 2.
I got it all back together now. So We're about to see if it'll actually start this time, and hopefully it sounds good and doesn't hydrolock. So let me get back where I can see this. There we go.
All right,
Okay.
Donnie.
Go ahead.
That's normal. We're gonna have to crank about that long 1 or 2 more times to build pressure into the injectors.
They just replaced all of the fuel injectors on it, so it's got to go through and get all the air and everything out of it.
So remember, 7.3 Powerstrokes are not a fuel-driven injector. They are an oil-driven injector. So it has to build all that oil back up, fill up all those journals, and then build up all that pressure. So it takes a little bit of cranking. Okay, go ahead.
I threatened it with ether. That's all it takes. So as it's working all of the air out and getting all of the fuel and the oil through each of the injector and the lines, it'll start smoothing out and running better. That's burning all the oil that was in the cylinders that had hydro-locked it, but sounding better and better. So we're gonna go ahead and finish getting the power steering topped off and get it all buttoned back up, and then we're gonna start on the mounts. Here, Brock will show you what we've been doing. He's making the mount for the ram. So the ram right here will go right there. They're both on these mounts that Brock's building. So we started out with the CAD design there. We're gonna still have to drill the holes out, but we'll get those drilled, centered and drilled out, and then get those welded onto the cover, and then we'll be ready to pull the cover off of that one, change the fluid, and get the ram mounted up under there, and then run the 2 lines. Right now the gear is already drilled and tapped. I don't know if you can even hear me over the diesel, but the gear is already drilled and tapped, so we just have to pull the caps off and then put the lines on, bolt the ram in. It's hydro assist, ready to go. So that's where we're at now. Been working at getting the corners cleaned up so it fits tight, so it'll be easier to weld on. So we'll show that as we're putting it together. Well, we got really tired this morning and ended up taking a break, going home, get a little bit of sleep, clean up, went to church. It's Sunday afternoon. We're gonna button up the rest of this hydro steering so it's ready to head to Moab tonight to meet Rory in the morning. So Caleb's gonna start welding this thing up. We got it all kind of mocked up. We're pretty close to where we want it. I think it's looking pretty good. Throw it on the diff right there. And at that point, it's just measure how far down the tie rod we want the mount on the tie rod, burn those on, and it's ready to put 2 lines on, and it's done. So I love how simple hydro steer is. When you have all the pieces, it goes pretty quickly. So
That's the key, when you have all the pieces.
when you have all the pieces.
Speaking of which, shout out. Thank you, Chad from Chad's Fab.
He happened to have some of the fittings that we need for the power steering hoses,
Yeah.
which
Completely saved our bacon.
there's no way, I mean, I don't know what we would have cobbled together, but welding fittings together or something,
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably.
But luckily he had the right ones for us. We got them from him yesterday, so that's awesome. We'll get this burned on, and hopefully we'll be test driving this in what, hour and a half? Have it all together, and that's my prediction. What time is it? It is 3:43. So we'll say by 5:30. We'll say by 5:30, I think we'll be test driving it. Okay, now what we're going to do is bolt the ram back on with the other mount on it, and just finger tighten the nut so that it's perfectly in line, the hole's right where it should be. Then we'll tack it in place and then weld it in. It just burned right through the glove. Oh yeah, just melted right through it.
Does that look?
Yeah, that looks good. Yep. Tack it. Welding in between when these are so close together isn't very easy, which is why we went ahead and welded the one both sides fully, and then we're doing the other one, because that one at least for sure we're going to get really good on the outside, and the inside, if it's not 100%, isn't as big of a deal, but it should turn out good.
I think that went well.
Oh yeah, it turned out way better than I thought it would. On the inside, outside. That's the kind of perfection that I expect out of Caleb. Yeah, now you can see that piece there. It's supposed to be flat and it's bent pretty good. Now if you go underneath and look, here's a light. You can show how twisted. Go straight up as much as you can to show these and this. That's all supposed to be flat. And not all twisted.
That's not supposed to be twisted.
And this is better than the other side. The other side's even worse. That happened when we were pulling that big trailer back up onto the road, up the mountain, because we had the front of this hooked to the tree and the front of James's Land Cruiser, and we anchored everything off of this pretty much. That looks like it's working. Oh yeah. So this part here, we got to flatten this out. That one's even worse. But then these, we're gonna kind of redo how this is bolted on. So right now, this mount is bolted through where this ring is bolted on, up through the frame with those 3 bolts, and then these 2. But it's not touching the inside of the flange at all here. So we're gonna look and see if we can take these studs and put them on the back side of this and come through the whole thing. That should strengthen it quite a bit.
My personal opinion, this is the best stuff on the market.
The right stuff is better than really any other sealer.
Yeah.
I've been using it, I don't know, since the early 90s,
Yeah,
like when it came
forever.
out. It's just got to get it, run a bead around it, and then smear it so it's even all the way around.
I think that's done.
Yeah, that right there, I can stand right there. That don't matter.
I think that's about all we're gonna get for that without taking it apart doing it right.
How much do you think that weighs, Caleb?
All of it.
It weighs all
It
of the
weighs
pounds.
all of it. Yes. I bet it's 250. It's hefty. This is the Gen 2 Smitty built 17.5. It is a very, very hefty winch.
Yeah, Ben found it on eBay, I think, or something, for a pretty good deal. And the line pull on this is much easier than my Warn when you're free spooling out, which is the only reason that we're replacing it, because I do love that Warn, but such a hefty winch, gear reducted, trying to pull out the whole time is fairly difficult. So, Brock, you're hitting something.
Walk out with that all the way.
You want to walk out with Brock? He's pulling the whole line. Woo!
Big cable.
How come parts of the red?
That
It's
way,
a warning.
when you're pulling it out and you see the red start to come out, it means stop. Because if you pull to the last wrap, it's just going to pull it off of the drum. You need several wraps for the friction on the drum to keep it from pulling apart.
Okay, stand by.
So a lot of our other winches, they'll have about 6 feet of a different color or a sleeve of a different color over the end. That way when you're pulling it out, when you see that, you stop.
You know to stop.
Lock it in, don't pull it any further.
So are we replacing the cable in it?
Yeah,
The
we
synthetic line?
don't like using steel cable. Synthetic line is a whole lot
Nice.
safer. Hey, yeah, nice.
And what makes
If we
it
just-
safer?
Hi, Tori, and to anyone else that is interested in the answer to that question. The reason that a synthetic line is safer than a steel cable comes down a lot to deal with stored energy. What that means is when you're pulling on that steel cable, if it happens to fail, it snaps, that energy has to go somewhere. And unfortunately, with a steel cable, that is usually towards the person using the winch or towards the vehicles that are using the winch also. So it becomes basically a steel whip. There are things that you can do to a steel cable to make it safer, like a winch line damper or winch line weight, whatever you want to call it. You've probably seen them, most of them just look like bags and they hang over the cable, and that's in case the cable snaps, it helps pull it down. Another reason that synthetic line is safer than a steel cable is due to the fact that it frays. If you've ever grabbed a cable that has started to fray with a bare hand, you understand. It's not nice. It does some damage to your hand and it doesn't feel great. With synthetic ropes, you can negate all of those issues. You don't have to worry about it damaging any of the people around. You don't have to worry about it damaging vehicles if it snaps. You're not gonna have stray wires that end up catching your hands. If you guys are wondering who I am, my name is Steve. I do some of the editing for the Bent Offroad Recovery YouTube channel. Caleb's older brother, Jake, has been my best friend for about 20 years. And I also have my own YouTube channel that I will link down in the description. If you like to watch an idiot who has a problem with modifying everything, definitely go check that out. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for a synthetic rope or a kinetic rope, definitely go on to the Bent Offroad Recovery website, click on the link, and use BOR10 for a discount code on your Yankum rope. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video.
If we just put a little notch there, you can still go right to it. Get the
Job
plug.
for another day.
So the nice thing about the Smitty built ones here, the controller, you can use it corded or it's cordless. So you can click and use it without plugging it into there. But if the battery in this goes dead, you can grab the cable and plug it in and keep using it. Which the batteries in these last a really long time. They're not rechargeable in the Gen 2s, but you can just replace the battery, which is really nice. So since there's enough clearance there, down the road, we'll notch this right here. So if we need to, we can put the plug in it right there. But for now, it's got a brand new battery. We'll be good. We'll just use it cordless at the moment. But there's lots of room there. I'm glad to see that.
Oh, that's great.
This is a lot smaller than that worn though.
Yeah.
So the 120-foot cable, we might actually have to worry about it.
I don't know. Did you look at mine? Mine's got 100 foot, and there's plenty of room left on the drum.
Yeah, but you bought a bigger cable from Allen.
But that one's not tight yet either. It's
Yeah,
just pulled
but
in by hand.
It's bigger and longer. It's going to be
We'll
a
see.
big difference.
We've got 120 foot cables coming from Yankum Ropes.
Because Yankum Ropes is awesome! So, quick recap on what we did to the Blue Diesel getting ready to go to Moab. It was a scramble. We were just, I mean, it was a mad rush to get everything done, and we finished up at what, 2:30 in the morning?
We ended up driving straight there in time to hit the trail.
Yeah. So we didn't even use our hotel room the first day. We drove straight to Rory's, and we got there like 15 minutes late technically. Yeah. But luckily he was a little late too. So a little recap of what we did.
So the mounts where they got bent, we pulled the bumper off and hammered them straight again so that it would all pull back up into place, because this was bent down on the sides like this, and the tire was hitting it pretty good. So we got that part straightened out so that we could get it bolted back up and not hit the tires. We still need to do a little reinforcing down in here so it doesn't happen again, but for now it's good. It's back into place where it should be.
Got the new winch.
Nice 17.5.
And the reason that we went with a Smitty built, I got ladybug just landed on me. The reason we went with the Smitty built is because the line pull on these Generation 2 X2O Smitty built winches is just so easy. It is so easy.
Yeah.
Easily one-handed, just pull it out, get what you need to get done. And I loved the Warn, I really did. It never gave us an issue. We didn't really have an issue operating it, other than with it being so gear reducted, it doesn't disengage the motor fully. So you're pulling the motor, and it was kind of a pain. So we went with this. I think we're gonna be really happy with it. This is our cobbled together hydraulic assist. So you see right up there, Ben was able,
and this is new.
Yeah, Ben was able to rebuild this gear in between jobs at work, and drilled and tapped it. So we were able to put fittings in and put some hydraulic lines off of something else on it. We picked up this ram for cheap off eBay, and unfortunately it's stationary on this side, so we can't rotate it. So these are facing forward, so that's gonna have to change because they'll hit rocks right there and break. But it got us through the trip. And the angle, I don't know if you can tell, is not perfectly straight. So it's fairly flat here, but it's pushed out this way a little bit, which eventually will give us issues with bending the tie rod and pushing it out and in. But we had to rotate it to clear the track bar.
You can see where it's been touching, not hard, but enough.
Yep. So this was very temporary just to get us through this trip, and it worked, and it did okay. But we are gonna relocate the track bar and change the track bar mounts, top, bottom, all the way around. I think it'll be way better when we're done. And then we can set a new ram that's got the adjustments so we can put the lines at whatever angle we want.
Possibly on the back side.
Yeah.
Somewhere where they're more protected.
Definitely somewhere more protected.
Because right now, not too worried about rocks hitting them, but we do a lot of stuff up in the mountains and in the desert, and brush, sticks, stuff like that are gonna hit these and bend them and tear them. And
it's amazing how much damage sagebrush will do.
Yeah, it'll tear this stuff up and bend the fittings, and then they start leaking. So we want to get them up or on the backside or something where it's more protected. But it got us through the trail, and it worked, and it helped a lot. It wasn't like, wow, this is super easy, but there was a lot of times where it was bound up where you could turn where we wouldn't have been able to before without it. So it was good, and it drives pretty good, handles well. So
yeah, we definitely need to adjust the steering gear still. That was definitely one of the issues that we weren't able to address. We just didn't have enough time. and it wasn't a huge safety concern because I wasn't driving this down
It just
there.
has some play in it, which is annoying.
Yeah, so we're going to tighten it up, adjust the steering gear so it drives a lot better, and we found PSC makes a plug that changes the pressure in a factory pump. So for now, on a cheap budget, it's $22. I'm going to order it, and it says it'll bump the pressure up to 1600 psi.
And that'll make a huge difference with the hydraulic ram.
Yeah, it should make it to where it steers quickly and easily, and yeah, should go down the road super nice.
Looking forward to that.
All in all, super happy with it. Glad we didn't sleep for 3 days to get it done.
Yeah, it performed the way we wanted it to. So
Yep.
we're happy with it.
And the injectors are not all the way broken yet, but they're getting better and better. And all in all, we had a great trip, and it turned out pretty good. So, we do have to do an axle seal.
Oh yeah, it started leaking out of this side. When you get an angle where this was downhill, it'd leak out of here.
Yeah.
But
So that's on the list. Got to do an axle seal. Other than that, yeah, huge time crunch and huge workload in the middle of the night, but we got her done.